intriguing as it was improbable that he would encounter up there in the snowy mountains of Bohemia a man of reason, a man of science, whose prophesied flash of darkness would actually come to pass, who, in other words, stared up at the sky with his empty sockets and saw somehow what no other astronomer in the world could see, foresaw with no eyes what they could not foresee with two. If that were the case, Leibniz concluded, then when the light went on again 4 seconds later, it would find the laws of optics in a shambles, knowledge in ruins, the human mind in an intimate embrace with the world, and the human eye in a state of disgrace. He intended to reach the observatory by sunrise on the 28th, to stay there 2 days and 2 nights, in order to rigorously but surreptitiously assess the astronomer's sanity through a series of subtly stringent interviews, proceeding from the political to the theological, i.e., from the lowest to the highest, by way of the ethical, the logical, the astronomical, and the metaphysical. And finally, at noon on the 3rd day, i.e., the 30th, to observe by the astronomer's side the moon's predicted occultation of the sun, the foretold 4 seconds of darkness on Earth, the assessment sine qua non of his sanity. "He could pass my assessment without passing God's," Leibniz wrote. "We are actually always passing each other's sanity assessments, but failing God's," he wrote. "I'm always passing your assessment, and you're always passing mine, always with flying colors. This is what a conversation is, an alternating series of not very stringent sanity assessments, though in God's eyes, presumably, we're frequently mad. Still, we never increase the stringency of our assessments. Of course, even the most stringent human assessment is ridiculous in light of even the laxest assessment administered by God," Leibniz wrote. It is worth noting that 2 weeks earlier, for reasons that remain obscure some 3.5 centuries later, Leibniz had been denied his doctorate in law by the faculty of the University of Leipzig, despite having recently published his first book on the art of combinations. Upon hearing the verdict, he had gone for a walk on the outskirts of town, in the Rosenthal woods, where, while staring at the trunk of a tree, he was struck for the first time, as he recalled decades afterward in a letter to the French skeptic Simon Fouché, by the calamitous implications of the philosophy of Descartes, who had severed the mind from the world, transformed the world into a gargantuan machine, and made the mind doubt everything but its own existence. For a brief moment in his 19th year, Leibniz lost his faith in reason. The next fortnight finds him en route to Bohemia. I imagine him trudging through that summer snow in search not only of material for publication, but of a happier and more harmonious relationship between mind and world. In any case, something must have gone wrong. His calculations, his cartography, for it was not until after sunrise on the 30th, more than 2 full days behind schedule, and only a few hours before the predicted eclipse, that Leibniz reached the observatory, and almost without realizing it, for he was at that point, as he recounts, suffering from hunger, dehydration, and hypothermia. "I have nearly completed a treatise on some remarkable properties of mountains," he reports to the Philosophical Transactions, and had hallucinated over the course of the night prior, while staggering from one peak to the next under the lash of a freezing rain, a vast number of astronomical observatories of every conceivable and inconceivable geometry, not only triangular observatories and pentagonal observatories, but observatories of hundreds of sides, and in fact even thousands of sides. In short, a night of pure polygonal unease. Observatories were constantly popping out of the mist.